swear I saw it before. Darling, close your eyes, it's on. I know it's hard to trust. I know it's hard to fall in love with somebody else. But if we take our time, let the stars collide. And if you make your mind, promise you'll be fine. And let me hold you close for a summer night. 'Cause I'll be falling in love with you.
Shall I start?
Yes.
Okey. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera dan salam petaling utama memacu aspirasi pendidikan berkualiti kepada semua. Terlebih dahulu, cikgu ucapkan tahniah dan syabas kepada semua murid kerana dapat meluangkan masa pada malam ini untuk mengikuti program Pecutan Akhir SPM ini. Kepada warga pendidik yang turut serta, sekalung apresiasi saya hulurkan. Untuk makluman semua, program kita pada malam ini turut dipancarkan secara langsung menerusi saluran YouTube Wasilah Minda PPD Petaling Utama. Sebelum program kita dimulakan, saya ingin merakamkan jutaan terima kasih kepada Yang Berusaha Puan Hanizah binti Ibrahim selaku Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah PPD Petaling Utama, Dr. Norlina binti Muhammad Yusof Timbalan PPD Sektor Pembelajaran, Encik Eugene MORAIS kerana menganjurkan program yang amat bermanfaat ini. Program Pecutan Akhir SPM 2025 merupakan suatu program kolaboratif antara Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Petaling Utama dengan DRB HICOM, University of Automotive Malaysia. Kerjasama strategik ini merupakan satu inisiatif yang amat murni menggabungkan kepakaran pendidikan daripada pejabat pendidikan daerah dengan sumber dan sokongan yang disediakan oleh institusi pengajian tinggi terkemuka iaitu DRB HICOM University. Matlamat utama adalah untuk memastikan anak-anak kita di Petaling Utama menerima persediaan terbaik untuk menghadapi peperiksaan SPM yang menjelang tiba. Untuk makluman semua, mata pelajaran fokus pada malam ini ialah Bahasa Inggeris, khususnya untuk calon SPM 2025. Kita sangat bertuah kerana bersama-sama kita ialah seorang guru pakar yang sangat berpengalaman iaitu Encik Eugene MORAIS daripada SMK Taman C. Tajuk yang akan dibincangkan berbunyi How to Score in English. Murid-murid harus berada di sini sehingga akhir program untuk mengisi kehadiran dan juga mendapatkan e-sijil. Baiklah, tanpa berlengah-lengah lagi, saya Hanan Sofia selaku...
Okay. So, welcome everyone. So today what we're going to do is we're going to have a sharing session to help you all how to score for English SPM. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. And a very good place to start would be this platform over here. So first, what I would like you to do is please write your name and the name of your school in the chat box. Thank you for all those who have written their names. Okay, so please write the name of your name and your school name. I understand you will be getting some certs later on. Okay. So while you're doing it, let's continue. So once again, English 1119. That's the code for your paper. And I'm sure all of you know you have to sit for 4 papers for English. Paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. Now, let's just do a bit of recap before we actually move into the session proper. Okay. All of you need to know, paper 1 is called the reading paper. Reading paper. This paper is 1 hour, 30 minutes. And there are 5 parts to this paper. Part 1, 8 questions, multiple choice questions, where you will read short texts from books, advertisements, magazines, and you have to answer questions with just A, B, or C. You choose one. Okay. Part 2, again, multiple choice, close. So this is testing you on grammar and vocabulary, 10 marks. Part 3 is what I call it the reading and comprehension part. So you have to read a long passage and you answer 8 questions there. Part 4 is called the gap text, 6 questions. And part 5, information transfer. Total 40 marks. Okay. Then we have our paper 2, writing paper. This paper, again, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Out of 5 questions, you have to answer 3. Compulsory would be email, guided writing, short essay, and for your extended writing, the long essay, you have a choice of 3, choose 1. 60 marks for this. Okay. Then you have your speaking paper. This is I will call it the easiest paper to score because it's done by your school teachers. Okay. So speaking paper will only take about 12 minutes and you go in pairs. Total marks is 24 marks. And the final one is your listening paper, 40 minutes, where you have to listen. There are 4 parts to it. Okay? Good. Okay. Now, I want to bring to your attention a few things about the paper. For paper 1, 1119.1, please bring 2B pencils, eraser, ruler, and your highlighter. It's very, very important. Okay. You can use 2B pencils, either mechanical or the normal pencil, but make sure it's 2B. Answer everything on the answer sheet using your 2B pencil. So for paper 2, please bring pens. I would actually recommend for you to use black ink. Okay, bring ruler and highlighter. Bring a few pens just in case you have technical issues with your pen. Paper 4, again, please bring pencil, 2B pencils, eraser, ruler, and highlighter. Okay, good. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to score, how to get marks for English, especially for paper 2. I'm not going to teach you how to write a short essay. You have already learned that since Form 1. So today, let's take down some points, how to get marks. How will the examiner mark the paper? What will the examiner do? What are the examiners looking for? Okay, let's move on. Okay, how to score? I'm going to focus on paper 2 first. Paper 2. Okay, focus. What do you understand by focus? Let's take an example. Let's say you want to visit England. You've spent some money buying your air tickets and you want to go to England. I'm sure you must have a plan before you reach England. In your plan, you must have what to do in England. What am I going to do there? What am I going to see? What will I do? What will I buy? What will I eat? You need to know before going to England. If you arrive in London, for example, and you feel that, what to do? Never mind, let me just sit in my hotel. It's going to be a waste. Your objective of visiting England will not be accomplished. Same thing goes for SPM English. You need to find out what is the heartbeat for paper 2 and also for your speaking. It's sort of connected together. Now, heartbeat means it's alive. Okay, you're alive. And to make sure that your paper is alive, you need to focus on these four things: C, TA, O, and L. I am very, very sure your teachers have touched on this. Do you know what is C, CA, O, L? Because if you do not know what to put for C, CA, O, and L, this is going to happen. You can be the best writer of all. You can write very well, because I'm sure everyone can write very well. But what we want to know is, can you write according to what Lembaga Peperiksaan wants? Can you give an answer based on what the examiner will give you marks for C, CA, O, and L? Okay, so we don't want this to happen. Let's focus on the C. Can you put down in the chat, what do you understand? What is C? What does C stand for? Can you put down in the chat? Let's see. Actually, I can't see. Okay, please type in the chat. What is C? Okay, I see a few answers coming up. Great. Okay, so C is for content. Okay, is content important? Yes or no? Yes or no? Oh, sorry, I can't. Okay, no sound. Okay, let me just speak. Yes, content is very important. Okay, take note. For content, you will get 5 marks, from 0 to 5 marks. But I'm sure all of you want to get the 5 marks. Now, to get 5 marks, you need to answer the 3 or 4 questions or the points given. So it's something like this. To get 5 marks, you must have answered all the 3 content points. But if you only answered 2 content points, you would get 3 marks. And if you only answered 1 content point, you would get 1 mark. Now, content is the easiest to score. Okay? Now, let's look at this question here. Okay? This is a sample of an email question. Question 1. You received an email from your best friend, Peter, who wants your opinion on something. I will read it very quickly. Hi, I've been asked to choose a musical instrument for my school marching band, but I can't decide which musical instrument to choose. Which musical instrument do you think I should choose? Why do you think it is suitable for me? What can I learn from joining a marching band? I hope to hear from you soon, your buddy, Peter. So this is a sample of an email from SPM. Okay. Can you identify content 1? So in the exam, what you need to do is, straight away, you need to either underline or highlight and put a C1 next to content 1. Some of you may be asking me, but how do I know what is content 1? Very simple. For email, look for all the questions. And that will be your content. Okay. So, which musical instrument do you think I should choose? That's the first question. So write C1 beside that. You know that is going to be your content 1. Okay. Now, is there a content 2? Yes or no? Yeah. You can communicate with me in the chat box if I ask the question. I feel it's easier 2-way. So can you identify content 2? Okay. I want you to write down content 2 in the chat box. Which is content 2? Please type out content 2 in the chat box. Let's see whether you can get content 2. Okay, they are busy typing. So, great. Thank you very much. I see 2 answers up 3. Well done. Excellent. Great. Okay, good. Your answers are correct. So, content 2 is, why do you think it is suitable for me? So you have highlighted it or underlined it, and you must write down C2 beside that. And is there a content 3? Yes? No? Is there a content 3? Okay. Yes, Jacker says yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. So content 3 would be, what can I learn from joining a marching band? So for this question, we have 3 content points, C1, C2, and C3. Okay, good. I like to tell my students to highlight, so much easier, but there are different ways of doing it. You can highlight, you can underline, you can even circle. Please do what is suitable for you. Okay, so now I've highlighted the 3 points, the 3 content points. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know, can you name an instrument played in a school marching band? Can you name an instrument played in a school marching band? Please give me some answers. I'll tell you why after this. Let's see. Please write. Great, so many answers coming up. Okay, good, keep it up. Well done. Okay, now, so for those of you who are not sure what a marching band is, this is a picture of a marching band. Okay. Now, the question may sound very simple, but sometimes in the stress of answering a question, you may feel so stressed that you may put in an answer without thinking twice. I had a student who put down this answer. In his mind, the word marching did not come up. He just saw the word band and he wrote down piano. Okay, so what do you think happened? Could he get any marks for that content point? No, he lost marks because definitely you cannot push a piano and march on the field or anywhere else. Okay, 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 good. Now, in part 2, you can check your content points this way. This is a sample of part 2, short essay. It's so much easier because they give you in a point form, ... And each dot would indicate a content point. Content point 1, content point 2, and C3. Okay. Sample. Okay. So for paper 2, please mark down C1, C2, C3. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I hope everyone is okay. Any questions? Please post, and maybe Puan Hanan will let me know, because Puan Hanan, I can't actually see all the questions very clearly here.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Eugene. We do have 2 questions here, but it's a bit unrelated to the writing part.
Okay.
The first question is, the student asked, will the students be penalized if they help their partner in speaking test? Would you answer? Okay,
thank
that's
you.
the first
I'll answer
question.
that. Okay, I'll answer that first.
Okay.
In the speaking test, okay, I always tell my students, you must work with each other and you must be smart how to help your friend. For example, just say my partner is Puan Hananda, and I'm starting to speak and suddenly I get tongue-tied. The thread has snapped. I do not know what to do. Hanan, looking at me, will say, Eugene, maybe you should say this. In a conversation form, she's helping me. I will say, oh, thank you very much, Hanan. I will continue speaking. Now, if I'm not sure of a word, for example, the interlocutor actually cannot help to give the meaning, but you can ask your friend very subtly, Hanan, what does this word mean? And she can help you, and then you speak on, because conversation is going on. So I hope that answers that question.
All right, so moving on to our second question. Is it allowed to use highlighter in SPM?
You can use highlighter in the question paper on the questions, but do not use highlighter when you write your answers. Your answers, for example, paper 1 and paper 4 will be answered on the objective sheet where you have to use 2B pencil. And for paper 2, when you write, you will write using pen. But at the question area, you can highlight, no problem, but do not highlight on your answers. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. All right. So this is related to the first one. What happens if both of them do not know the words? So what do they do?
Okay. You can try and ask the interlocutor, because sometimes in the speaking chart, we have an option B where the interlocutor will rephrase the question, which is in a simpler form. But students, don't worry, the interlocutor is your school teacher. They will indirectly help you. So don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eugene. I think that's the question for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on, okay? Okay, now, just now we did C. Let's move on to CA. So, my dear students, what does CA stand for? Who can write down fast? Please write. Do I see any answers coming up? What is the meaning of CA? Okay, one answer just came up. Yes, correct. Great. Very good. Perfect. So CA stands for Communicative Achievement. And some of you may be thinking, what is communicative achievement? Now, don't get worried, students, okay? Very simple. CA means you're writing in the correct genre or format. And when I use the word neatness there, I will explain further on. Okay. Now, these are the different genres for writing. Email is for part 1. Short essay is for part 2. And review, article, story, and report would be for part 3. When it says there, correct format, if the question says, write an email to your friend, for example, make sure you write in the format of an email. If it says there, write a review, so make sure you have the review format. If there's an article, title is given, written by, okay, that is the meaning of genre. Okay. When I meant by neatness here means the examiner, the person marking your paper, must be able to read through your work easily. Now, if the examiner has to stop suddenly because he or she could not understand what you're writing, your writing was very, very bad, a lot of scribbles there, the examiner had to stop and think, what's going on? When that happens, you will lose marks under CA because there was no smooth reading for the examiner. Okay? Okay, CA. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to O. Okay. O stands for, who wants to tell me? O stands for? Anyone? Thank you. The first one, yes, organization. Perfect. Okay. Now, under organization, there are 4 sub-points. 4 sub-points. Okay. Who can write down any one of the 4 sub-points under organization? There are 4 sub-points. Any of the 4 sub-points before I reveal the answer. As an examiner, I will be looking for 4 different areas under to give you marks for organization. So, who can write down at least one? You don't have to write all 4, at least one. Do I have any? Okay, good. Okay, the second one has just come up. Good, keep it coming. Let's see. Because you need to be confident in what you do. Okay, be very confident. Don't be scared of making mistakes here. Okay, don't be scared. Just be confident and write it down. 4. If you can write all 4, bravo to you. You're on the right track. Perfect. Okay, good. Okay, oh yes, I'm going to give you a 1 minute to start this, to write down. I forgot to put my timer. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute to give me the 4 points for organization. You can refer to your books, no problem, students. You can refer to your notes because this is not an exam today. It's a sharing session. Okay, about 20 seconds. Good. Thank you for all those who have suggested answers, written answers. Okay, time's up. Let's check. So, if you have written any of these 4, give yourself a pat on your shoulder and say, well done. Okay, so the 4 subparts for organization are linkers, cohesive devices, paragraphs, and punctuation. Meaning, to get marks for organization, you must have all these in your writing. So I will go later on to explain to you how to put it for the different parts for the writing paper. Okay, let's take a walk slowly and see and look at each of these areas. Okay, linkers, very simple. For linkers, just think of fanboys. Yes, just think of fanboys. The words such as for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, and there are many more as well. So these are connecting words. So it's called linkers, to link. Okay? Very simple ones for those of you who are struggling in English. Use and. Okay? Use but. These are simple words. So you need to use these linkers to connect your words. Simple sentence would be, for example, Mary went to the market and she bought some vegetables. Instead of writing, Mary went to the market. Mary bought vegetables. The vegetables were fresh. So instead of having all these many sentences, we use linkers to join them together. The second one is cohesive devices. My dear students, this is very, very important. Cohesive devices is a must for you to write from email for part 2 and part 3. So I'm very, very sure your teachers have touched on cohesive devices. Now, if you cannot remember all, don't worry. Remember a few and use that. Okay, don't remember just one, because you need to have a variety of cohesive devices to get good marks. So these are some examples, other examples of cohesive devices. Very simple, students. Just go and Google cohesive devices and you will get a whole list. If not, please liaise with your English teachers. Ask them to share with you. Or if you need, just let me know. Okay, I can share with you too. Cohesive devices. Okay, the third one is paragraphs. So please take note. Paragraphs are very, very important because paragraphs make a text easier to read by breaking it up into segments. It also helps to separate key points, and it also helps the reader, the examiner, to see your points clearly. Okay, and the last one is punctuation. Now, this is very, very important, and many students make these mistakes because they are rushing to write, especially the commas, the full stops, question marks, and most importantly, which they forget, is the capital letters. Okay, sometimes the examiner cannot differentiate. Is this a capital S or a small s? So you must be able to show that this letter is capital or small letter. Okay, so these are examples of punctuations which you can use in your writing. Okay, now let's look at this again, this email. This was actually taken from one of the SPM questions, the first batch, which I just modified a bit. Okay, question given to you. Okay, and this is the answer by one of the students. One student wrote this answer, says there, "Hi Peter, received your email. Let me share some points to help you make a decision. The instrument you should choose is a flute. A flute is light and easy to carry. Moreover, it is suitable for you since you can play the recorder, and this is quite similar to it. By joining a marching band, you can learn to work in a team. In addition to that, you can make new friends too, as you are an introvert. Let me know your final decision, your friend Jack." Okay, just look, dear students. Can you see the punctuation marks for email? Starting with "Hi Peter," comma, very important. At the end, "your friend," comma. All this play an important role to get your marks for organization. Okay. Okay, finally we go to L. I'm sure you know what L is. It's not love, but we all love this word because L is for language. Okay, language is very, very important. Okay, very, very, yes, thank you for those who have written yes. Language, excellent. Okay, now, what do we look for in language? These 3 points: spelling, grammar, and vocabulary. So make sure you spell the word correctly. This written in the correct grammar form. And what do I mean by vocabulary? Now, don't stress on this, but you can write a word. But for someone, let's look at this. Peaceful. But if the person writes serene, wow, it's a word which not everyone uses. It's like a wow word. So the examiner will put a star across this word as well. For example, dirty can be filthy. Walking, taking a stroll. So don't be scared to use these kind of words in your writing, especially if you're doing story. Writing a story will really help a lot. Okay. Okay, Hanan, any questions so far before I move on?
Yes, we do have 2 questions. Okay, the first one is, can we use M dash?
M dash.
M dash, the long dash, in the essay they want to use the M dash, like the long line.
Oh, I think if you're only doing story, you can do that. If not, please don't use that. Always remember to keep it short and simple.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The second one is, how do we make sure our sentences are correct, even if they are simple and can easily get 20 marks in email?
Okay. So I will come back to that later on when we come to timing. So for part 1, part 2, and part 3, you need to manage your timing where you have time to write, you have time to read through and check whatever you have written. Most students, let me tell you, they have no time to check. Once they finish part 1, zoop, they turn the page, they go to part 2. They do part 2. Zoop, they go to part 3. And by the time they come to part 3, it's time to collect the papers. So we'll come to that later. I'll tell you time management on each part 1, part 2, and part 3. Is that okay, Hanan?
Yes. We do have one more question. The student asked, are fanboys used to connect 2 or more topics? For example, cup of coffee. Yeah.
Yes, fanboys are actually linkers. You can use it for even one long sentence. You can make 2 sentences into 1 sentence or 3. For example, I went to the market to buy some vegetables, but I could not get any because I was late. So I used the word because, I used the word and, for example.
Okay, I think there's no more question for now.
Okay, thank you, Hanan.
All right.
Okay, so let's move on to checklist. Now, all of you need to have a checklist when you're answering your writing paper. So what do I mean by checklist? Okay, let's take email. Okay, so at the top right-hand corner of your paper, write down C-C-A-O-L. And you put C, 1, 2, 3. C-A, you put E, 1, 2, 3. E means to elaborate. O, you put L, 1 CD, 3 para, L. As you are writing, you tick off that, okay, I've already done content 1. I've already done content 2. I've elaborated on content 1. I have my linker. I have a cohesive device. Okay, so if you look at this, this is a question, the question paper. At the top right-hand corner of the question, just scribble this down there. C, C-A-O, and L. And that is your checklist to check that, did I complete everything? Is my heartbeat going on? Remember, the heartbeat of writing is the C, C-A-O, and L. Okay. So as you're writing, okay, I've done my 3 content points. Tick. So this is the answer. Okay. You check. Okay. I have. My answer C1. What instrument? Flute. Elaboration of flute is light and easy to carry. Moreover, second point is there. Because I can play the recorder, it's easy for me. Why do I need to join the marching band? to learn to work in a team, make new friends. Okay, so if you notice, I have my content point 1, 2, and 3. I have elaborated on my content point 1, 2, 3. I have 2 cohesive devices there. Okay, I've written in 3 paragraphs. Okay, I've done my checklist. I'm fine. I can move on to my second question. Okay. Okay, let's take a 1-minute breather. If any questions, you can put it in the chat box or you can ask. I'm not sure whether you're allowed to speak out. Yeah. Anyway, Puan Hanan is my voice today, so she will speak out your questions and I will be able to help to answer them. Okay. Okay, grab some water if you want to drink some water. Okay, good. Let's move on. Now, let's go back to part 1, email. In a nutshell, what do I need to know? Okay. Time. How much time do I need to spend for my email? Plus minus 20 minutes. Do not take more than 20 minutes. Okay. Now, okay, very important. If you take more than 20 minutes, there are some students who spend about 35 to 40 minutes doing the email. And then they rushed all the way and did part 3. And then finally it came to part 2 and they did not score well. So time management is very, very important. Always have a timer. So what would I do is, when you're going to start that question, write the time on your question paper. For example, 8:15. Okay, if it's a morning paper. And I must finish by 8:35. Okay? Okay. Next one is words. Email is about 80 words. I want to ask this question. Must you count and write the number of words at the end of your email or at the end of your part 2 or part 3? Yes or no? Can you just put in the chat box? Yes or no? Must you write down how many words? Okay, I see some no's there. Thank you. The answer is no. Do not write the number of words. Now, English is different from BM. I always tell my students this. This is an English paper. This is not mathematics. This is not additional maths. So there's no need to count. But then you'll ask me, but how do I know I have enough words? You will know. Practice makes perfect. Okay? For example, as you're writing, one trick is to count the line with the longest number of words. For example, you have 10 words in a particular line, and you count how many lines you have written. You have 8 lines, 10 times 8 is about 80 words. So do not waste your time, because kisah benar, true story. I'm marking SPM papers, and while I'm marking, I see this, Yesterday, the girl went to the zoo and then 20. She saw some animals there. There were monkeys, giraffes, and whatever. 25. She forgot to erase all the numbers which is written down. So please do not use your pencil and write down the numbers. Be confident. For example, email. They've given you a template. Make sure you write within that template. Part 2, they've given you 1.5 pages right within that place. Part 3, you have what, 5 pages, you can write the most there. Okay, next one. Now, best to write the email in 3 paragraphs. Now, this is what I tell my students. Please write your email in 3 paragraphs. I'm sure some of you, maybe your teachers have told you, never mind, email, you can write in 1 paragraph. For email, you will not be wrong, but I tell my students to write in 3 paragraphs because, number 1, it is much neater. Number 2, it's easier for the marker, the examiner, to see all your points. Number 3, it's easy for you to see what you have written. Okay? Okay, so let's look at this. 3 paragraphs. Simple. Hi, Peter, salutation. Then you have received your email. Let me share some points to help you make a decision. First paragraph, very simple. Look at the last paragraph. Let me know your final decision. The main bulk of your answer will be in the body in the second paragraph, where you have your C1, C2, and C3. So this will be for email. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so in a nutshell, to get your 20 marks or around there for your email, make sure you answer the 3 or 4 content points and make sure they are elaborated. Elaborate on them. Make sure you have at least 2 cohesive devices, you have linkers, and in 3 paragraphs. Make sure your language is good. Double check, did I make any spelling errors? Is my grammar correct? And you will be successful to get high marks for email. Okay, so let's do some hands-on. Okay, in a nutshell, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you an email question, and then I'm going to give you the marked script. But before I give you the marks, what I want you to do is, you are going to tell me how many marks would this candidate get for content, CA, O, and L. Okay. In my classroom, I do this. I make my students mark another friend's paper. To be able to mark the paper, the student must be very, very confident in how to give marks for C, content, how to give marks for CA, how to give marks for O. Do they have linkers? Do they have cohesive devices? Do they have paragraphs? Are the punctuation marks correct? Okay, and language. But usually I'll make them focus on content and organization. Okay, let's look at this question. You received an email from your friend Diana, who plans to help a classmate, Julia, move into her new house. Now, dear students, please take note. Always remember to read the instruction above the email there. Please look at it very carefully and highlight all the important points. For example, email your friend. Very important, it's a friend. Her name is Diana, okay. To help a classmate, Julia, okay. Hi, Julia and her family are moving into their new house this Sunday. We should lend them a hand. A very good sentence, lend them a hand, okay? Let's go there together. Where should we meet and what time works best for you? I'm still thinking about how we can help them. Any ideas? So when you get a question like this, what's the first thing you will do? Anyone want to share? What's the first thing you will do when you get a question like this? Are you going to straight away start writing your email? No, you will not write your email straight away. The first thing you need to do is, remember, find out your content points. And for email, very, very simple. Look for all the questions. Every question given must be answered. Remember, every question given must be answered. Okay, for example, I've highlighted the questions here. Where should we meet? What time works best for you? How can we help them? Any ideas? It's the same thing. And should we bring anything? Now, once I've highlighted it, you get a clearer picture. Wow, I have so many questions to answer. Okay, that's where you start doing a little bit of planning on your question paper. Always learn to scribble points on your question paper. Okay, don't start writing immediately. And then you should answer the questions. Okay, students, look at the four questions given. Where should we meet? What time works best for you? How can we help them? Should we bring anything? Okay, I'm going to show you an answer now. I want you to read the answer and tell me, did the candidate answer the four questions? Okay, exhibit 1. Okay, let's look at the handwriting. Oh, as an examiner, the first thing when I see this is like, oh my gosh, okay, not very neat. But as a teacher, I still need to mark it. So what I did was, I retyped it for you. Okay, please look at this. See, did the candidate answer all the four questions? Scan through. So think of what I told you just now about the content. What did I tell you about CA? Is the genre correct? Are there linkers? Are there cohesive devices? How's the punctuation? Under language, spelling, how's the spelling? How's the grammar? Okay, so you need to have a clearer look at this. Okay, I want you to all do a self-marking on a piece of paper. Write down content. How many marks can I give this candidate? CA, communicative achievement. Was it an easy read? Example, was it an easy read for the examiner? Okay. Are there linkers? Are there cohesive devices? Okay. Do your own marking now. Write down, because I want you to write down the score in the chat box later on. C, A, O, and L. How many marks would you give this candidate? Now, if you can mark it well, that means you can write well yourself. You would know exactly what to do. Okay, about 1 minute, let me give you. We're going to go very, very fast. Don't put down the marks yet. You just type it on the chat box. Don't press enter. Okay, because I don't want anyone to copy anyone's marks. You can just type down in the chat box C, how many C, A, O, and L. When I say enter, then you key in your marks. Okay. If you can't do for all four, C, A, O, and L, don't stress. Maybe just do for C, content, and O for organization. Those two only. Any language too. Do whatever is comfortable for you. We'll take it slowly. Okay. Oh, I've already seen one answer coming up. Okay, you can start typing down, but don't press enter yet. Okay, start typing. C, up to 5 marks. Okay, for example, remember I told you to get 5 for content, the candidate must answer all the questions. And we have 4 questions here to answer. Okay. Okay, maybe you want to know the question again. Let's go backwards. Okay. Where should we meet? What time works best for you? How can we help them? Any ideas, means they want suggestions? And should we bring anything? Okay. Double check. Did this candidate answer all four? Yes, go back to my exhibit 1. Okay. Okay, let's put down our answers now. Okay, I'm going to call you Guru Muda, my dear teachers, young teachers. Put down your answers now. How many marks would you give this candidate? Okay, don't be worried. Don't be worried. Whatever you're given, you're given. Don't bother about what your friend has written or what another candidate has written. Because sometimes when we teachers mark too, we get different answers. Okay? Good. Okay, good. If you can't do for all four, just do for content. No problem. Perfect. Very good. Wow. Okay, before I reveal the answer. Okay. Okay, go Hanan, you'd like to share some of the scores given? Because I can't see very clearly from here.
Yeah, sure.
Mostly what marks did they give for content?
All right, content. We have 3, 2. A lot of them are giving 3. There's one student who gave 4.
Okay.
2 students gave 4. Most of them are giving 2 and 3.
Okay, very good. What about O, organization?
Organization. Okay, 3. 1. There's one student who gave 1.
Okay.
2. Okay, we have 2. Ada yang bagi 4. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Adalah. Okay, most of them gave 3.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And language?
For language, 3. 3. Most of them gave 3. Ada yang bagi 2 juga.
Okay.
Ada yang bagi 1. There's one student who gave 1.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Okay.
time. Okay, jang. Time to reveal the answers. Okay, so this paper was marked by someone from Lembaga Peperiksaan. Okay. Okay. Content 4 marks. Okay. The only reason was because they used Malay words. So take note, my dear students. You cannot use Bahasa Malaysia in your English paper unless you elaborate on this. So they use the word of penyapu and penyodok without explaining what is penyapu. You always have to imagine this. Your paper is marked by someone from England, for example. Do they understand what penyapu is, what penyodok is? Example, let me give you another example with nasi lemak. Even though nasi lemak is accepted, but I would recommend that you add on nasi lemak would be coconut milk rice served with anchovies, egg, example. Okay, so communicative achievement 4, organization 4, and language 3. Okay, so anyone close to this? Okay, so just to take note, when it comes to email, they are not very, very strict because an email is at an A2 level. Email is a Form 1 level. So they're giving you chance a bit. Okay, so very good to all my teachers, okay? If you have scored around there, give yourself a round of applause. Well done. You're on the right track. You know what to do. Okay.
Mr. Eugene, we have a question here.
Yes.
If I use a Malay idiom and explain the meaning, is that okay?
It should be okay. You say in Malay, for example, in Malay, we have a saying, example, seperti kakak di bawah tempurung, which means, and you explain in English, should be okay. But preferably, you need to explain that, then should be okay. There must be an explanation so that the examiner or the marker knows that, this candidate is trying to say something in Malay, but is actually explaining it in English as well. Like what I mentioned about nasi lemak, for example, coconut milk rice. So I know they have both ends there. Is that okay, Cikgu Hanan?
Yes, that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, good. Let's go to Exhibit 2. Same question, different answer. Another answer. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay, how are you? I'm doing good here. I hope you also good there. I just received an email that you sent me about you want to move into your new house, right? Maybe I should lend you some help. You can send your address at WhatsApp and let's meet in front of your house. It would be easy instead meeting at mall and park. I will help you carry out your things like table and frame. I think I want to bring a useless clothes to help you like white dust. It sounds good, right? I'll wait for your next response about my opinion. Okay. Okay, students, again, back to this. Content, organization, language. Please mark. Okay. Did the student, this pupil, answer all the 4 questions correctly? How's the language? You can put down your answers, your marks. Please share your marks. Okay, good. I've seen one coming up. You want to see the question? Sorry. Okay, let me put this again. Okay. If you cannot do for all C, CA, O, and L, just give me for content or just give me for language. Okay. 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 Do you think this candidate did better than the first candidate? Which is better, the first candidate or this candidate? Would you like to share the answer? Which is better or who did better in your opinion? Candidate 1 or candidate 2? Okay. Okay, so answers are coming up. Okay, let's see. For this question, under content, the candidate got 0 marks. 0. Because the candidate did not answer the question correctly. So content 0. However, the candidate still got marks for CA, O, and L. So a lesson to learn from here is, even though your content may be out, but for email, they will still look at the other aspects to give you some marks there. It will not be a total 0 just because your content is not there. Just to let you know, dear students, C, CA, O, and L, they are all marked separately. Okay? Separately as well. Okay, let's look at the review. Content is totally irrelevant. Target reader is not informed. This is the case of global misinterpretation. I want you to take note of this word, global misinterpretation, meaning totally out of point. For example, if I say, please go to the market and buy some fruits, and you come back with cabbage, brinjal, and sawi, for example. So totally out, okay? The candidate misunderstood the requirement of the question that he or she needs to ask a friend to help Julia move into a new house. Okay. The candidate writes the email as if the candidate assumes himself or herself as Diana writing to Julia. So this candidate did not read the question carefully. Okay. CA 3 marks, organization and language 3 and 3. Okay. Okay. So how many of you gave 0? Hanan, did anyone give 0 for content?
Yes, we do have one, Rabiatul Khairah.
Well done to Rabiatul. Well done. Yes. Great. Okay. So good. Okay. Thank you, Hanan. Okay. Next one. Evidence number 3. Exhibit 3. Same question. Same question. Okay. Okay, it says there, hello, Diana. Okay, I would just like to tell you that try not to use the word hello for an email. Use dear or hi. Let's keep hello for a phone call, okay? I'm so excited to see Julia new house this Sunday. Of course, we need to help them since Jaha was our classmate. Julia was our classmate. I think we should meet at my house. I will ask my dad to send us to Julia's new house. I already asked Julia when she already there. She said that she already at a new house by 9 in the morning. So I think the best time for us to get there is by 8:30 in the morning. So time is there. We can all brings, but we can do our best to clean the house. For example, sweep the floor and furniture will get into the house. In my opinion, it's much better if we didn't bring anything because Julia and her family may be busy. We can bring a cake next time. That's all from me. See you this Sunday or Saturday. Okay, fine. Okay, you know what to do, students? Please give content. Let's give marks for content. Maybe content and language, okay? Leave out CA. Question is, did she answer all the 4 questions? Where should we meet? Check, got or not? What time? I think I saw a time just now there. How can we help them? What should we bring anything? Okay, so 4 questions. So how many of you think that this candidate should get 5 marks for content, or you feel that no, doesn't deserve 5 marks for content? Let's see. Okay, I see your answers are coming up. Good. Any 0 so far, Hanan, for content?
Yes, we do. Vinash gave 0. The rest gave we do have 4, 2, 3.
Okay.
Only one student who gave 0
wow.
so far.
Strict teacher. Okay, we'll find out why afterwards. Okay. Thank you, Hanan. Yes.
All right.
Okay, so let's check. Okay. 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 This candidate has answered all the 4 questions. There's a C1, C2, C3, and C4. Look at content first, okay? So, for content, full marks, 5. CA, 5. Organization, 5. Only for language, 4. So this candidate got 19. So maybe this examiner was maybe a bit lenient, but just to tell you that you can score high marks even though if you did some grammatical errors there. Okay? Okay, let's see the comments. All content is relevant to the task. Target reader is fully informed about the details of the plan to help Julia. All 4 questions posed are addressed, even though what to bring, the answer was, no, we will not bring anything now. We can bring it later because they'll be very, very busy. Okay? Okay. Under organization, uses simple connectors and a limited number of cohesive devices. So it shows the coherence and good organization skills. Okay. So in my opinion. Okay. And under vocabulary, they have the best time. Okay. Things like that. Okay. Good. So, okay. Okay, you can read. Okay. Okay, let's take a very short break before we move on to part 2. Go and grab something, a drink, have a drink. You'll have a 2-minute break. If you have any questions, please post. You can ask. Cikgu Hanan will be there to let me know.
Yes, we do have 2 questions here.
Okay.
All right, the first one is the use of idioms encouraged, and is it okay for them to do direct translation?
Okay, let's take the first one, idioms. Idioms is fine, but make sure the idiom is relevant to that sentence or to that task. There are many students or pupils who memorize idioms and they feel that I must put this idiom in my writing. I must put it in without thinking whether it makes sense or not. So idioms are okay, perfect, but make sure it is written in the correct context.
All right, thank you, Mr. Eugene. And next one, will the mark be deducted if we crossed a lot of words? It's not very neat, the paper.
Okay, as I mentioned just now, for the examiner to have a smooth reading, there should be no distractions on the paper. For me, if I find a student scratching a lot, scribbling a lot, the first thing which comes to my mind is this student did not do a draft. Started writing immediately. So usually when I mark a paper, I'll go back to the question part there. I'll see, wow, so clean. Not even one note written there. So this student has started writing straight away. Saw the question, started writing, and then, it's wrong. Starts writing, scribble, right? So you will lose marks under CA because you have sort of made the examiner stop to think what's happening. Okay, that's the answer.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
We have another question, but this student asked if they would have access to the recording of this session.
I think PPD should be able to answer that.
There's a YouTube link, I think.
Yes, correct.
There, right?
Under some Minda's thing, yeah. Under
Wasila Minda. Yeah, you
yes,
can go
correct.
to the YouTube link, I think. It should be there. Unless PPD decided to remove it, but I think should be there.
Yeah,
right?
because I saw the BM one there today. BM was yesterday, so it's over there. Yes.
Okay. This one student, Muhammad Hazik, you raised your hand. Is there any question? Okay, I guess not. So yeah, that's about it for now.
Thank you, Cikgu Hanan. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's go to part 2. So we have done part 1. Part 1 was email. Part 1, email, it is an A2 level. A2, which is a Form 1 level. So if you notice, the marking is a bit linear. They're not very, very strict. Now we're going to come to part 2. Now, before I move on to part 2, let me share with you. In all my markings, I found that students score less in part 2. They do well in email, and in part 3, they do well. But when it comes to part 2, their marks drop. So I've done some sort of investigation, come to a conclusion. This is because in part 3, you have 3 questions, choose 1. In part 2, you only have 1 question. And whether you like it or not, you have to answer that question. Now, email is very easy to understand. But part 2, if you do not understand the question, that's where you will write something out of point and lose marks. Okay, let's move on into part 2 and see how I can help you. Okay, so just now I told you the timing for part 1 was plus minus 20 minutes. For part 2, do not spend more than 25 minutes, plus minus 25 minutes. Now, just now, for example, email. If you spend 15 minutes to do your email, so you have extra time, and then you can carry this forward to your part 2. So do not spend more than 25 minutes. If not, you will suffer in part 3. Okay? Okay. Again, number of words, about 125 to 150. So meaning it's a bit more than email. And again, do not count the words. There's no need to put in brackets how many words you've written. No need. Just make sure that part 2 must be longer than your email. It must be longer. Okay? And write it in the space provided in the answer sheet. Now, again, best to write the short essay in 4 or 5 paragraphs. Please do not write more than 5 paragraphs. I will tell you why soon. Okay, 4 or 5. Okay, for example, this is a part 2 question. Your class has been discussing the ways people can show kindness to others, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay on it. In your essay, you should write about, now for part 2, they will give you the content points under point 1, point 2, point 3. So each point is actually content 1, content 2, and content 3. Okay, so you use all the notes above to give reasons for your point of view. This is an example of part 2. So in a summary, for part 2, answer the 3 content points and make sure it is elaborated. You must have at least 2 to 3 cohesive devices, linkers, and write in 4 to 5 paragraphs, and make sure your language is good and correct. Okay, and you'll be successful. Okay, let's go to part 2 proper. Okay, now the main question is, do I write in 5 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs? Okay. Would you like to answer this, students? Do I write in 5 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs? Would you already know? Okay, I see 4, 4. Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you for sharing all those I've written. Very good. Okay. Good. Okay, let's look at this. So I have divided this screen into two parts. There's the green and there's the yellow. Let's look at the green. It says there P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. P stands for paragraph. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So paragraph 1 should have your topic sentence. Paragraph 2 would be content 1. Paragraph 3, content 2. Paragraph 4, content 3. And paragraph 5 is coda. Coda means the ending. Okay? And let's look at the yellow paragraphs. Paragraph 1, topic sentence. Paragraph 2, combined content 1 and content 2. Paragraph 3 is content 3 and paragraph 4 is coda. So here are two ways which you can answer part 2, following the green or the yellow. Okay, let's go a bit deeper. Okay, so again, this question I read to you just now. So we have 3 content points there, C1, C2, and C3. Okay, now, what is the topic sentence for this? Would anyone be kind enough to write in the chat box? Don't be scared, it is strong. What is the topic sentence for this question? Don't worry, I will explain later on, but let me hear from you. I will ask Cikgu Hanan to read out later if you have given any examples.
We do have some answers here.
Cikgu Hanan, please share.
Ways people can show kindness.
Okay.
And then ways people can show kindness to others.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically,
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
that's the
Thank
answer
you
that
very
you
much.
give. Yeah.
Good. Actually, students, pupils, you're on track. But the word topic sentence, let's narrow it down to 1 or 2 words. So you compress it. Take out ways, take out people, take out can, take out show, take out to, take out others. What do we have there? I've taken out ways, I've taken out people, I've taken out can, I've taken out show, I've taken out to, yes, I think someone has written kindness. So topic sentences, we spot on that one word or maybe 1 or 2 words to tell what is this whole question about. Okay, so on kindness, correct. Okay, kindness. Okay, very good. Okay. So first thing is you must identify the topic sentence. Now, dear pupils, do not start writing part 2, the first paragraph. Your class has been discussing the ways people can show kindness to others, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay on that. Do not copy that thing down. Do not even change it to my class has been discussing ways people can show kindness and my teacher has asked me to write an essay on it. Do not do that. That is called lifting. Lifting means you're copying a sentence from up there and you're putting into your paper. It's not your work. So do not take any full sentence from any question and put it into your question paper. You will not get any marks. Okay, so good. The topic sentence is kindness. Okay, kindness. Okay. So then we have a C1, C2, and C3 here. Now, you must ask yourself this question. Each of these content points, are they standing on their own? Meaning, am I able to write about it? Or is it a combination? Okay, let's look at it. C1, an act of kindness you experience. It is one whole point. What act of kindness did you experience? So that would be one paragraph. C2, why we must be kind to others. It is not directly connected to C1. So I will not combine it with C1. So C2 will stand on its own. And the C3, how to encourage people to be kind. Totally different. So it stands on its own. So for me, this question would be a 5-paragraph topic sentence. You explain what is kindness. No need to write a whole story about it. Just in general, what you understand by kindness. For weaker students, you can actually start off with what is kindness? Question mark. Then you give a short answer there for weak students. But students who are very good in the language, elaborate a bit. Then you move on to C1, C2, and C3, each different part, and you end up in a coda. Coda means an ending. Just summarize the whole thing. Okay? Okay. Okay. Let's look at another question. It's again a part 2 question. Your class has been talking about the various cultural traditions in Malaysia, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay on it. In your essay, you should write about some cultural traditions that are still practiced, why it is important to appreciate our cultural traditions, ways to encourage young people to keep the traditions alive. My first question is, straight away by looking at this question, how many paragraphs are you going to use for this? Write down in the chat box now. How many paragraphs? You must know straight away by looking at the question, is it a 4-paragraph or 5-paragraph? Because you can't think halfway, maybe I will do 5, maybe I will do 4. That's when you waste time. Okay, I want to know how many paragraphs. Is it a 5 or a 4? Okay. I encourage everyone to try and answer in the chat box. Don't be scared of giving a wrong answer. Okay, we're all learning today. Okay. Yes, Cikgu Hana, I can see a lot of 4s and 5s coming up.
Yes, we do have a lot of 4s and 5s.
Okay, so let's delve into this. So, looking at the question, okay, let's look at the C1, C2, and C3. The first dot, some cultural traditions that are still practiced. The word is some, not a. When there's the word some, you must give at least 2. Okay, because the word some. That would be on its own. Why it is important to appreciate our cultural traditions? Why? It stands on its own. The third one, ways, there's the S there. Ways to encourage young people to keep the traditions alive. There's the S, must give at least 2 reasons. So for me, straight away by looking at this question, Eugene, 5 paragraphs. I'll be thinking in my head, okay. But if you write in 4 paragraphs, don't worry. They're not going to penalize you. They're not going to penalize you, so don't worry. Okay, what is the topic sentence for this question? Please write in the chat box. I want to know the topic sentence. And then later, I'll ask Cikgu Hanan to share what you have written.
We are still waiting for the answers.
Yeah, I think many have come up already, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, just share some, Cikgu Hanan.
All right. Okay. Cultural traditions. That's
Yes,
the general answer that they give.
bingo, perfect, perfect, very good. Okay, just take note, students, if you read the question carefully, cultural traditions, when you answer, in Malaysia. So later on, when the candidates write this, make sure it must be something related to Malaysia and not any other part of the world. Okay, very good. Okay, so the topic sentence is cultural traditions. Perfect. So well done to what you've written. Okay, well done. Okay, okay. Let's move on to another question. I just want to find out the topic sentence. Are you familiar? Are you able to find out the topic sentence? And are you able to write down how many paragraphs? Your class has been discussing what people's personalities. Your teacher has asked you to write an essay on a person close to you. In your essay, you should write about your relationship with the person's personality, lessons you have learned from this person. Question, again, 5 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs? Should. Right.
They answered 4 paragraphs.
Correct. Well done. Well done. Yes, because I can combine C1 and C2 in this question. I can combine both. Well done. Bravo to you all. So what's the topic sentence, my dear students?
Some of them already answered people's personalities.
Okay, Ken. Fun. You're on the right track, my dear students. Right track. Excellent. Okay, good. Okay. Or even personalities is fine. Okay. If you notice, I'm going to combine C1 and C2 because it says your relationship with the person. For example, if I'm going to talk about my teacher, so the person I'm talking about is my teacher. For example, my teacher, Mr. Lim, he is blah, blah, blah. So you can combine both together. So when you already write down your relationship teacher, straight away you get a C1. Okay, good. Look at C3, lessons you have learned. So there must be at least 2 examples of something you have learned from this person. If you only put down 1, you will not get your full 5 marks. Okay? Well done. Okay, I explained this to you all just now on the C1, some cultural traditions. That means there must be more than 1. Okay, and then ways to encourage. Would you like to share, dear students, one cultural tradition? Just give me one that is still practiced in Malaysia. A cultural tradition. You didn't say a religious tradition. Take note, a cultural tradition that is practiced in our country. Anyone like to share some answers? Because during the exam, let me tell you, your mind will be like, this question asking me, you'll be really blocked. But now we have some free time, don't worry. Okay, think. Just tell me one cultural tradition that is still practiced in our country.
We have one here, Mr. Eugene.
Yes.
Wearing henna on wedding day.
Perfect. Good answer, actually. Very good. It's a cultural tradition, yes. Any other answers, students? Don't be scared to write down. Remember, in the question, you have to write down 2. Now, we're just asking you to share 1.
We have Festival Hari Raya.
Okay, can as well. Accepted.
Serve food in banana leaf.
Oh, very good. Environmental friendly, actually. Yes.
We do have wayang kulit, but is that allowed? Do we have to translate it?
Actually, wine play, which means shadow play, if you write down as well, you know, because someone may not understand what is wayang kulit, you know. Yeah, but fine, because if hopefully they put it in inverted commas, you know. Yeah.
Okay, we have wearing cultural dress.
Okay, good. Can. That's accepted because nowadays we are more into Western wear and our cultural attires is hardly used except for festivals. So very good, Ken. Yeah. Okay,
That's
thank you
about
very
it.
much.
Yeah. All right.
Cikgu Hanan. Okay. Okay, let's go back to exhibit 1 for part 2. Okay. The question was this. I'm taking on cultural traditions in Malaysia, and your teacher has asked you to write an essay about it. Look at the 3 points. Some cultural traditions that are still practiced, why it is important to appreciate our cultural traditions, ways to encourage young people to keep the traditions alive. Now let's look at exhibit 1. Okay, let's have a look and tell me, do you think this candidate, what any content points? Have a read, please. Or if you cannot see the content points, look for, can I find cohesive devices here? Can I find linkers here? Anything, just look at it, dear students. If you can identify any of that, that shows you're on the right track. Yeah, students, if you look at the third line from the bottom, come to my class, put to garpu. Okay, that's a Malay word there. Okay, can you imagine if someone who's not familiar with the language and trying to understand what is garpu? Okay, okay. Instead of asking you for the C, CA, O, and L, you do your own calculations. Tell me, per 20, how many marks do you think this candidate should get per 20? So you do your own calculations. Content, how many? CA, how many? O, how many? And L. Then you tell me per 20, how many marks? I will just see the range. You may be around there, okay? Okay, do it now. Please post the marks now per 20. How many marks would this candidate get? Okay, you can do other way. You want to give the C also can, no problem. But let me get your marks. Roughly, how many marks do you think this candidate should get? Is it below 10, above 10, above 15? Okay. Oh.
We have 12 over here, 13,
okay.
10, 18. Wow.
Wow, okay.
9, 16, 14, below 10.
Okay. You have a range of teachers here, okay? Yeah.
Very
okay.
strict teachers.
Yeah.
11, 13.
Yeah. Maybe some of them are just focusing on maybe language and content. Some are just focusing on, doesn't matter. Good. I like them. They're actually thinking, you know, they're actually thinking. Very good. Okay. Okay. My dear students, this candidate got 0. Is it? Yeah, 0. Because totally everything was not there. Okay, under language. So I'm guessing the person who marked this paper was very, very strict. Maybe we would have given at least marka kasian, maybe 1 mark or something, but they actually followed the rubrics in marking this. Okay, let's see. Okay, content is totally irrelevant. Target reader is not informed due to distortion of ideas. The candidate merely lists down the examples for writing task 1 without answering the task properly. The various cultural traditions in Malaysia is gasing, congkak, and kasut terompa. I'm sure we understand what that is. Okay, we know what is gasing, but you have to think in context of someone who doesn't know the language. There's no elaboration of what is gasing, what is congkak, what is kasut terompa. Okay, the candidate simply puts in all the rubrics and includes their own words to complete sentences without making any sense. Okay. The connectors, and there's no paragraphing at all. See, paragraph is very important. The connectors and punctuations are used not correctly. My teacher can get to chocolate cake and let to my class. Okay, the teacher come to my class, put to garfu, but when eat cake, batik, and nasi lemak. So it really doesn't make sense. Okay. So the use of BM words can be found throughout the text. Garfu, chocolate, jajan, cocok. So, and grammatical errors are evident. So take note, students. Part 2, when they mark part 2, it's marked stricter. Stricter. Okay, now don't let this upset you. Let's go to evidence 2. Exhibit 2. Okay, let's read this. I think it's much clearer. Same question. I think it's easier to understand. I can see linkers. I see a topic sentence there. Okay, so very simple. Would this candidate get below 10 or above 10? I just want that answer. Below 10 or above 10? Just write that in the chat box. Below 10?
He answered above 10.
Above 10. Bravo. Okay. Okay, wow, everyone is above 10. Very good. Okay, so let's see. Jang, jang, jang. Well done. 15 out of 20. Okay, content, full marks, 5 marks. And already we got organization and language 3. So well done. Well done to you, my teachers, young teachers. Okay. Okay, so you can see content 5. Target reader is fully informed about the cultural traditions in Malaysia. The candidate has addressed all the writing tasks successfully. Okay. Okay, good. Do you need a break? Or shall I just move on? I think I will just move on. If you want to take a break, just go and come back, okay? Okay, let's go to part 3 very, very quickly. I'm going to take part 3 very, very in general, okay? Now, just now, time-wise, part 1, plus minus 20 minutes. Part 2, plus minus 25 minutes. Part 3, plus minus 45 minutes. Now, why 45 minutes? Number 1, because in part 3, you have 3 questions given. You need to read all the 3 questions to decide which one I'm going to answer. Unless you already told yourself much earlier, I will only answer if it's a review. But still, you must read the question. What if you do not understand the question in review? So you need to read through all the 3 questions and then make a decision. Okay, I will choose this question. Okay, that's why 45 minutes. Now, number of words about 200 to 250. Question, can I write more than 250 words? Yes or no? Please put down in the chat box. Can I write down more than 250 words? Will the teacher penalize me for writing more than 250 words? Yes or no? Can I write more? Cikgu Hanan, is a yes or no?
They have a few answered yeses. Ada yang jawab no as well.
Okay.
Not more than 260. Saif Ahmed Khan said that.
Okay. For part 3, my dear students, you can even write more. Just make sure that whatever you write is within that answer booklet. Do not ask for extra paper to write more. Okay? But my point again to you, do you need to write 400 words and 500 words? Actually, no. So, most important is you answer content 1, content 2, content 3. You elaborate on content 1, 2, and 3. You put in your cohesive devices, you put your linkers, fine. Okay? So you can write more than 250, but do not go right up to 1,000. And first thing is you're going to make the marker pening kepala as well. Okay? Because whatever you write, they still have to mark it. And if you have more mistakes, you are the loser in the end. Okay? Okay. To be written in 4 or 5 paragraphs, again, following part 2, and at least one cohesive device in each paragraph. So if you notice in email, about 1 or 2 cohesive devices. When you come to part 2, you have about 2 to 3 cohesive devices. But in part 3, you must have cohesive devices in every paragraph. That sort of bring color to your writing. Okay? Okay, for example, paragraphs written, example, again written in paragraphs. Okay. Okay, so again, in summary for part 3, 3 content points elaborated, 4 cohesive devices, plus minus, linkers, 4 to 5 paragraphs, and your language, okay? Okay, now, in part 3, you will get questions based on these genres: a review, article, story, or report. Of these 4, 3 will come out. Which 3, we do not know, but they will give you 3. So far, all have come out so far. All have come out so far for SPM since 2021. Okay, the one which comes out the most so far has been review and story. Now, I want to focus on story. Now, just now I told you that you must write in 4 to 5 paragraphs. Story is different. For story, you can write as many paragraphs as you want to. Keep the story going and interesting, but still make sure you have your content 1, C1, C2, and C3 there. Okay, now let's look at story. Okay, this is an example of a question from a story. Write a story in this part. You write your answer of about 200 to 250 words. Okay, fine. Your teacher, your school teacher has asked you to write a story for a school magazine. Your story must begin with this sentence. Must begin with this sentence. The teacher looked at him and gave him a piece of paper, ... Now, students, please take note. If you do not start the story with these words and continue, you will lose C1. This is your C1, content 1. Now, if you write, the teacher looked at him and gave him a piece of paper, full stop, you are wrong. ... means to be continued. The teacher looked at him and gave him a piece of paper, and you must write something else about this paper. Give him a piece of paper on a tray or something like that. Okay. Because you look at C1, your story should include the message on the paper. And the message was that C2, you must have a surprise element, and C3, a lesson he learned. The word he, looked at him, so you know that in this story, the person you're talking about must be a male character, not a female. Okay? And then write your story. Sometimes your story, they'll tell you, will be, you must end the story with those words. So make sure that words given to you will be right at the end of your story, right at the end of your story. Okay? Okay, so this is the C1, the message on the paper. C2 must be a surprise element, the C3. So for story, you can use dialogue, you can use a lot of punctuation marks, make it interesting for the readers to read. Okay? Okay, any questions so far for part 3?
I don't have any question in the chat box,
Okay.
but I do have someone who raised their hand just now. Do you have any question, students? Okay, so far I don't have any question for you, Mr. Eugene.
Thank you, Cikgu Hannah. So just to sum up what we're going to do, whatever I've taught you or shared with you for writing, students, is the same for speaking, for paper 3, meaning you need content points when you speak, you need to have vocabulary, you need to have good grammar, you must be fluent in what you say, in your pronunciation. So you must have cohesive devices when you speak. You're speaking with your friend. Moreover, especially when it comes to the question here, the part 3, task 3 at the end, how to keep friendship strong, for example. And usually, I'm sure you with your pair, you'll divide yourself. Okay, I will take 1, 2, 3 on top. You take 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. Fine. When you converse with your partner, it's not a matter of, okay, how to keep friendship strong. Learn to forgive. Okay, your turn. Okay, oh, be supportive. Your turn. No. Every point, learn to forgive, for example, you must give an elaboration of that, an example. Share how to forgive, what happened. Okay, and for example, be supportive. Give an example. Someone, maybe a friend, lost the father, for example. Father passed away. How can we be supportive and keep the bond going, for example? Okay, so don't forget, whatever we have done in writing, it goes hand in hand for speaking. That means you must elaborate on your points. You must make sure you use cohesive devices and linkers. Good language. Keep the language going. Same thing for when you're speaking of your dream job. This is an individual one. Use cohesive devices. Give examples. You have about 1 whole minute to talk about this. So don't just say, oh, my dream job is to be a pilot because I like to go on the plane. My father inspired me. Dream job is very important. Thank you. Not even 15 seconds you have answered. And you have 45 seconds more. So take your time, speak. Even though you exceed your 1 minute, the teacher will not stop you because you're still speaking. And then she'll say, thank you very much. Okay, understand? Okay, so I've come towards the end of this session. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have learned at least something today. You can take back something which you can use in your SPM, your writing paper, your speaking paper. I wish you all the best, and I pray that all of you will score flying colors, A+, all of y'all. So thank you, everyone.
Ucapan terima kasih kepada penceramah Mr. Eugene serta pengetua sekolah beliau kerana memberikan keizinan untuk berkongsi ilmu dengan anak murid semua. Terima kasih kepada pihak penganjur iaitu Sektor Pembelajaran PPD Petaling Utama dengan kerjasama DRB HICOM University of Automotive Malaysia. Nantikan pecutan akhir SPM yang seterusnya bagi perkongsian ilmu mata pelajaran yang lain bagi membantu anak-anak yang akan menduduki SPM tidak lama lagi. Terima kasih yang tidak terhingga juga kepada semua murid yang telah memberikan komitmen tinggi untuk mengikuti program ini. Ingatlah, usaha keras anda hari ini merupakan kunci kejayaan pada masa hadapan. Kami ingin memohon maaf sekiranya terdapat sebarang kekurangan sepanjang program ini dijalankan. Jangan lupa untuk mengisi pautan kehadiran bagi mendapatkan e-sijil dan pastikan alamat email yang dimasukkan adalah tepat. Sehingga kita berjumpa dalam siaran lain, kami berdoa agar anak-anak calon SPM 2025 memperoleh kejayaan yang cemerlang dan PPD Petaling Utama terus gemilang dan terbilang. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cikgu Hanan. You're welcome. Welcome, everyone.